Hi, Coach.
Well, I guess I'll start off, Coach. I mean, it's been, 6-7 months now since you've been here, and you're a few days away from opening day. Just ask the players all the time. They talk about how ready they are. What about the head coach?
Yeah, I'm always ready. I mean, but at the end of the day, opening day's around the corner. You're more excited for your players. We put in all our work as coaches to, as far as develop them. Now, you obviously continue to develop throughout the season, but now, I mean, these guys are ready to see somebody else in another uniform, and we're tired of playing each other. So yeah, no, excited. Guys are ready to go. It'll be a fun day on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a silly way to put it, but are you going to have to keep a roster handy just to know who everybody is, or you got that committed to memory at this point?
Oh, well, I better have that committed to memory, right? Yeah, no, I won't need a roster, yeah. I mean, now I have my game plan cards on, different moves we'll make, right versus left, potentially some pitching matchups, but no, yeah, I'm roster, I'm good.
You mentioned pitching matchups. What are you kind of looking at this weekend as far as that goes?
Yeah, I've almost made up my mind, but I'm not there yet. I want to continue to look. I think everybody gets so caught up in what's the opening rotation, opening weekend, and you get so caught up in just looking at the first 3 games, and you forget to look at, hey man, we've got a really good Georgia State team too that's really offensive that you play Tuesday, and then you're moving into the next week, and the next week you got 5 games. So you actually, when you start to look at this, you're not just planning this weekend, you're planning what's happening, hopefully, the first 3 weekends. And so I'm getting close on that. It'll be, though, I mean, you'll see a lot of Charlie Goldstein somewhere. I mean, you'll see a lot of Leighton Fendi, Christian Maragna, Brian Zeldin, Colton Smith, Jarvis Evans. I mean, those guys are all throwing the ball really well right now. Morant Panzer's throwing the ball really well. I think a young man that's kind of a sleeper right now. He's obviously been here, but he's really throwing the ball well. I'm excited to see him in a real game. Max DeYoung had a phenomenal spring, early spring with us in our scrimmages, and really attacked the strike zone and threw the ball well. I'm anxious to see him, but yeah, just to name a few.
And you've been very careful this, preseason too, about not pigeonholing guys in a certain position. It sounds kind of like the way you're kind of going to be using these guys, at least early on, just depending on situations. I mean, righty, lefty.
Yeah, well, when you look at it, I mean, you look at Division I games of our pitching staff. Who has gone 5 innings in a Division I game? We have 4 guys.
Wow.
So, I don't want to make the journey too long for them right out of the chute. They're going to have to build into that journey. And when they do, then and they show me they can do it, then we'll continue to extend them. But, yeah, so that's the other side of it. I want them to go out and get comfortable. Now, we're going to push them. We're going to push some of them. But I can't make that journey too long. We're going to have to mix and match a lot early.
You talked this fall about, having so many guys that can play so many different positions. Just how many guys are you expecting to play this weekend? And, how big of an opportunity is this?
You could see every position player on our roster in there and or start at some point. Depending on what they do, I don't know what they're going to do just yet. I've got some ideas. They've got a couple lefties they could start. They got a couple righties, but I really like the way we're able to match up left versus right. Certain guys, and as I alluded to today, they throw a lefty at us, we can run 9 right-handed hitters out there, and they throw a good righty at us, we can run as many as 6 lefties out there. So with that being said, I mean, you're doing the math right there. I mean, that could potentially be 15 guys playing this weekend.
Is one of the pieces you obviously know you have is Charlie Condon. I imagine you have a pretty extensive report on him before you came here. If you're going to play Georgia, you had to know how to pitch him and that kind of stuff. You've been around some great players, certainly recently at LSU. How does he stack up in terms of just being a 5-tool player?
Well, I went on record last year, even before I had this job coming into the Georgia series when I was at LSU, that he was the best right-handed hitter I had seen all year behind Dylan Cruz. Of course, I saw Dylan every day last year. I still believe that now. I believe he is the best right-handed hitter in college baseball. And I think all we've done or have been able to do is show his flexibility and show what kind of athlete he really is. You'll see him at third, you'll see him at first, you'll see him in left, right, center, and you'll see him in the right-handed batter's box as much as we can get him up there. So with that being said, yeah, no, I mean, he's special. As a coach, you get a guy like Charlie, you hope to get one every, 7 to 10 years like this. but he's special. Yeah, no, he's a top first round kind of guy. You got to be really good to do that.
Talk about the work you've done with Leighton Finley this fall in preseason, and kind of where he's at right now, and improvements you want to see him make, and what you try to do with him.
Yeah, the biggest thing we got to do with Leighton, he's one of those guys who, you look at it, I think his longest outing was 3 2/3 last year. So, a guy who's not gone long, and, everybody's like, oh, we'll just transition him into a starter. It's not that easy, right? So we teaching him to prepare, teaching him to recover, teaching him how to get into a starter's routine, and really lock in on his catch play week to week. We've also, without, I'm not going to give away, some of our secrets on his stuff, but we've really got it. I think it won't take you long to see when we start playing any pitches. We've taught him where to throw his fastball. That's efficient, and then taught him where to throw his changeup. And those two things I think are going to be really crucial for his success.
Going back to Charlie, you talk about, the caliber player he is. How much does having a player like that elevate everyone else's game around him?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the old saying, right? I mean, it's always awesome when your best player is also a great guy, and people like him, and people gravitate towards him. So yeah, I mean, he raises everybody's game. Everybody looks at him. It's kind of, you almost get the sense some of these guys are working and doing things. They don't want to let Charlie down. They know how hard he's working and what he's got on the line, and they don't want to let him down. So yeah, no, he definitely raises the bar up for the guys.
You got a couple veteran bats in this group: Fernando Gonzalez, Corey Collins. What have they kind of provided to this lineup in your first season, and also what have they kind of provided to this team as a whole, considering how long they've been with this team?
Yeah, I think the two biggest things those guys do or bring to the table is leadership, right? I mean, you think of Fernando. I mean, that guy's back there. He's constantly talking to our guys, helping our guys. He's like another coach that we have on the field and in the dugout in the locker room, and I can't say enough about him. I think it's good too. I think a veteran bat that you bring up veteran bats. I mean, we brought a young man in, Dylan Goldstein. He was beat up quite a bit in the fall. I think you guys will see. I mean, this guy's got a veteran approach. He's really going to solidify the offense. He's going to give you a professional at bat. I guess is the way I would put it. And I think Fernando and Corey are in that same boat. So.
That's out for a couple more.
Just looking around at the park, obviously there's a lot of work being done in the innards around here, but how are you feeling about the renovations and what you're trying to do, I guess, sort of underneath and behind the scenes in the program?
Yeah, couldn't be happier with where that's at. I mean, I think that's obviously a huge credit to Josh Brooks and what he's done from a fundraising standpoint, and then just his vision and all for our total athletic department. I mean, you look, there's stuff going on everywhere. You got basketball, football here, softball, track. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
He's doing it to try to make this university, which it already is, but I mean, not one of the best, but the best. And so I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's moving at a great pace. I think we're at a great point right now. The locker room and team room is second to none in this league. And, all that's going to do is help us in recruiting. So, obviously, very excited and happy with what's going on.
Coach, first year, how close are you guys? I mean, is it going to be a work in progress all year? Do you feel really good about what you got done in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, we feel really good about our work in the offseason. This league is tough. It's kind of like I told our guys, too, though. Everybody wants to talk about failure. You also have to deal with success, too, at times. And I've seen good teams who are teams that could be good on paper go out and have some success and actually struggle with that. And so I think it's going to be a balance for our guys. So, when people ask me how close, that's kind of a tough question for me. No matter where we are, right? You got to see how your teams deal with success as well as failure, and then you're able to make those adjustments, coach them, and if you can get on track, hey, anything's possible in this league.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.